Hello, this is your psychological mentor, Park Seni. Do you remember the movie, what's it called, Innocent Witness before? It was a film starring Jung Woo-sang. And in that movie, there was a line, are you a good person or are you a bad person? I remember the actress who played the autistic girl delivering that line. Are you a good person? Are you a bad person? What kind of person are you? What does it mean to be bad? A bad person, in my opinion, a bad person is someone who thinks they're the only one in the world. In other words, someone who only cares about themselves. So I think a bad person means someone who only thinks about themselves, someone who only considers themselves in this world. That's a bad guy. You should think of others, but these people don't even think about their own parents, their colleagues, friends, nation, or society, only themselves. That is what truly makes someone a bad person. So it's these self-centered people who cause trouble in the world. If they consider others, they wouldn't act that way. But it's that narrow-minded thinking, that self-centered mindset that keeps causing these problems. And such a mindset can never help you grow as a person. Even when trying to make money, you should think, I want to solve other people's inconveniences. I want to address the difficulties others are facing. I want to make society a better place. When you think this way, when you have altruistic thoughts, not just focusing on yourself, you can earn a lot of money, gain the cooperation of others, and function well, and achieve great things. But if you keep thinking only about yourself and only try to do well for yourself, you end up isolated. It was almost 10 years ago, I think. Now that I'm getting older, I can't remember exactly how many years ago it was, but I think it was almost 10 years ago. But around 10 years ago, there were a series of so-called random stabbing incidents. Murder without asking. People were being stabbed to death. I'm having a hard time and you're smiling. There were so many pitiful and tragic people who would say, why don't you try dying? And then stab others. But when those people were evaluated by psychological analysts, they said, oh, these are psychopaths. They just said, these people stabbed and killed others indiscriminately. But my opinion is completely different. I think there were hardly any psychopaths among them. There may have been a few, but most of them were not. Because when I watched the crime scene reenactments, I saw that during those, they would just collapse and sob. I must have been out of my mind. I'm sorry. I've committed an unforgivable crime. I saw on TV how they would just collapse, cover their faces and sob, and someone who feels that much remorse is not a psychopath. Absolutely not. Then why did people who aren't psychopaths end up stabbing others to death? It's because they lived their lives as someone who only cared about themselves, just as we're talking about now. If you go on thinking that you're the only one in this world, isolating yourself in that mindset, you won't be able to feel any connection with others. Now, as humans, if we can truly achieve a state of deep focus and immersion, even if it's with other people, if they make us feel that way, we feel incredibly grateful, moved, and thankful toward them. That's why people are willing to pay money and even say things like, thank you for being born. Just yesterday, the world's top pro, Kim Se-young, came to my center to express her gratitude, saying how thankful she was. So I was incredibly happy. And as a mentor to someone who is not only the best in the world, but also brings honor to our country, I felt truly delighted. Anyway, when you don't just think about yourself, but also consider others, study for others, and make efforts to help others develop, people often say things like, thank you for being born. For those who only care about themselves don't know that kind of joy or fun. So when other people laugh, I get annoyed. But did you laugh? They poke at others like that. But it's really foolish. It means they don't understand that connection. The link between you and me, right? You know, like the rapper Doc 2. The link between you and me, whatever it is anyway. They just don't understand that connection. So if people could create a state of deep concentration for themselves, everyone would be moved and happy, but they just need to set up and create that state for themselves, right? Then those people would pay me. So why on earth would I, right? Why would I go and attack those people? They're all lovely customers, aren't they? Why would I hurt people who would be grateful to me, moved by me, and become my fans? It's because that person only thinks about themselves. It's really unfortunate when someone's inner world is all about themselves. If you only think about yourself, the world starts to seem hateful and even cursed. So don't keep turning your thoughts inward in such a narrow way, turn them outward. So think about what problems those people are facing right now, what mistakes they might be making, and whether there's anything I can do to help them. If you keep cultivating the mindset of wanting to create more ways to help, you'll become someone others are even more grateful for, moved by, willing to pay, and even respect a truly admirable person. So don't keep thinking that you're the only one who matters. Keep reminding yourself to live a wonderful life for others out in the world. That's the only way you can truly become admirable. I sincerely hope that there will be many more people in our country and in the world who are even more admirable than I am. If you found this helpful, please make sure to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. All right, I'll see you again next time. Stay strong.